Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Channel. Today, we're having coffee with Carl. Mr. Carl's been a longtime supporter of the channel and has also been part of the Amico Wars. He's a veteran of the Amico Wars. He's been out there in the YouTubes, making his opinions known. And here he is, Mr. Carl. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thanks for having me.
No. Thank you for accepting the invitation and asking. Listen, we go way back in these Amico Wars, but first I want to ask you about your preferences in video games. Right? What was your first video game console?
Oh, the Nintendo's entertainment system.
The original NES. Nice. And what was your favorite game there? Or do you have a couple of favorites?
I didn't get to play the usuals. It was mostly the LJN choices because we went to the movie around places a lot.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's got to be Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh, that's a good choice. That's a real good choice. The first time I saw Super Mario 3 wasn't in the homes. I actually saw it as an arcade machine. That was the first time that I saw that game. And at that time, I was living in Utah, out of all places. I was living near Salt Lake City. That was a great
cool.
dream. Yeah. And let me ask you, what do you play nowadays? What is your favorite console of choice?
I have an Xbox Series X and a Nintendo Switch Lite.
Nice. Very nice. So you're a Halo person? Gears of War?
I'm really bad at first-person shooters. I like role-playing games because I can take my time.
I got you. Have you? Let me ask you this: have you ever heard of a game called Phantom Dust?
I've seen it. Not really tried it, but I've seen it.
Give it a try. It's free. It's a free game on the Xbox Game Pass, and it's basically a card game come to life. And I'll leave it at that. I'm making a whole separate video on that one, but that's a recommend for me.
I tried a game like that on an MMO. It's called Wizard 101.
Okay.
Yeah. Phantasy Star Online episode 3 was like that too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this one is actually from the original Xbox. It was a game that's ahead of its time, but they've actually updated. So it's a pretty fun game. And right now I'm playing, I have the Ultimate, and right now I'm going through another run through of Dead Space, because they're doing the re-release. So
yeah.
And let me ask you, have you had any interest in these stand-up arcades, arcade one-ups, or Ultimate Legends, anything like that?
I got to see one for the first time once upon a time at Walmart. I mean, they look okay.
Yeah, they're okay. I'm trying to convince my wife to let me have the second one. I only have the big blue here because that's the one that's a Street Fighter. But my kids,
yeah, it's
my kids.
If I had the room, but it would have to be the right one because I'd only have enough room for like one.
Yes, that's I'm limited in space too, so that's why I'm trying to get the At Games Ultimate Legends, because that one has spinners, it has a ball, it has joysticks, so you can modify it. You can do a lot of things with it, and it's like at Sam's Club, it's like $5.69. And I was just looking at it today, and I was looking at limited run games, and they have. I'll give you an example. They have the Dead Space re-release. I think is like $300 or $299 on there. And then the other one, the Jedi, or was it Jedi? That's $300, and the other one's $274, something like that. But it was like $574 for two games, two physical games.
Doggy, that's expensive.
It is. So instead of getting that, I thought maybe I just get the arcade machine where I can just mod it, and get thousands of games in there.
Yeah.
So with that said, now that we've spoken our current gaming addictions,
Right.
let's go back in time, Carl. Let's go back in time
Mhm.
to where you first started watching my channel and got familiar with you. And, I put something out there that I want to do top 10 lists now that this thing is what, almost 3 years that we've been following this. I mean, it's 4 years since they've
Man,
announced, right?
I
Four
tell
years,
you,
yeah, since they've announced, but it's 3 years that we've been
it
following Tommy's
it
project.
is the greatest theatrical interpretation of human nature
Yes, in many ways,
known to
you have
man.
greed, you have vanity, you have anger. All emotions are there.
Yeah,
Yeah, even love, right? There's been a couple of love.
betrayal and passion, and it's really what I love about the Amico, honestly.
Yes,
Um,
it's like a novella slash reality TV show, but for reals, and it was great during the pandemic. It was really, really entertaining.
I would like to think that if a sequel to Dante's Inferno existed, it would be about the Amico.
Who would write it? You know what? It doesn't matter who would write it. Tommy would take credit for it.
I mean, as y'all know, I am talking with my mouse and the others these days, but it does not change how I feel about the Lemony Sticket in the series of Amico events.
Yes, yes, yes. So let me start off with number 10 here. And let me tell you, Carl, I was guilty of this too, just recently. And your number 10 on your list is the cult wanting Elon to buy Intellivision.
I remember seeing that. And I mean, with all due respect, guys, if any of you are watching, I mean, it comes off as begging.
Yes. Yes, it is begging because you know what? We don't want this train to end. We want another 4 years of Amico.
And then I'm trying to be nice about it, but when you look at it, asking a billionaire like Elon Musk to buy Twitter, or no, not Twitter, sorry, whoops,
Yeah, he bought Twitter. He
in
bought Twitter.
television, it does come off as begging.
Oh, yes. I mean, he would only buy it for a tax write-off or something like that. But, this is the idea that I had for the show. If somebody were to buy it, what I would want, right, is I would want, now that, we know all the facts regarding the games that weren't made, right, and all the games that Tommy would mention that had no intentions of being made, that where there was no contracts. My idea for the TV show is for him to go back to every single person that he told to collaborate, that he told about the games, that he told that, he was going to work with them, or, whatever claim he made about these games that he didn't have contracts for, and re-interview again and have those people ask the questions that he didn't, was, specifically, how'd I say, full of facts when he was answering them, like, Toe Jam and Earl, for example, where he said he was working on levels or he was describing levels on a game that he didn't have a contract for, and just have that uncomfortable meeting of the eyes where, the people are looking at him knowing that he bullshitted them.
For me, I think it's got to be like one of those nature shows. Like one of those nature shows starring Tommy Tallarico as the predator and him hunting down investors.
That's the Predator. Holy shit. All right. So here's, let me go through your list here. So that was number 10. So at number 9, we have, you call them the cult. I would say in television Amico fans, excusing stolen assets you have here on your list. At
well,
number 9.
When I call it the cult, I call them the cult. Got to put a little German in there. um, yeah, I mean, it's like, and I've heard the again, guys, they're excuses. Okay, I mean that with all due respect. Just because everyone else jumps off the bridge, it doesn't mean it should be trending. That's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. And then you have the actual, on number 8, you actually have the stolen assets. Are we talking Tank? Are we talking Moon Patrol? Which one? Which specifically are we talking about?
I must have typed it down wrong. Did I cover the reporters, like the Ars Tech?
Yes, you do further up in the
Okay.
line. You have first you had the excuses for the stolen assets, and then you had the stolen assets themselves.
Oh yeah, I counted them separately. Sorry about that. So okay, and this kind of equates to my number 1, right? Them stealing the assets. I mean, these guys are so nervy. They're using stolen assets, and 7 is connected to that. So I have a few of these on my list where they're interconnected.
Well, I came up with a couple of excuses, Carl.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, see, I'm a professional shill, right? So I own Microsoft stock, I own Nintendo stock, and Sony stock, right? If this was happening in one of my companies, and I would have to defend it, this is what I would call them, right? I wouldn't say stolen. I would say they are unauthorized crossovers, huh?
Yeah, or liberated assets.
Yes, unauthorized crossovers or Easter eggs. How about that?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's why I remember why I put them down the way I did. Now it kind of confused me at first, but I was like, that's right. I do consider them separate.
Yes, and at number 7, you have one of my favorite ones.
Which one was that?
Ars Technica versus Tommy Tallarico.
Man, Toma Lemony Stick at a series of Amico events. Man, they really need to have that as the book title. I mean, it's just he goes around picking a fight with Ars Technica, and I tell you something. I've been to GameFAQs message boards plenty times, and everyone their sweet mama mentions Ars Technica as much as they do Digital Foundry.
Yeah.
So it's just so nervy the way, and that's what it is, right? Nerve, guys. That's what it is. You don't pick a fight with an entity like Ars Technica and expect not to have any backlash. It's just that doesn't happen.
Was that the one where they called the reporter a rat face, or was that Digital Foundry? I can't remember. I get them confused.
I don't know. They're kind of similar, but I think the Digital Foundry is funnier because they ask them. I think it's Digital Foundry.
Yeah, because
it's Digital. Yeah, I do.
You
like said,
one right after the other. You have tech.
Yeah, a lot of these are interconnected. So
yes, it was a whole battle back in the day because they were saying that these reporters were jealous, right, in some sort of way of Tommy's success, right? These are just hater reporters trying to get clicks for their articles by hating on Tommy because it was a popular thing to do.
I mean,
that was one of the excuses back then, right? And also remember, he was going to sue somebody because they published the specs of the Amico and that exclusive cell phone technology.
Boy, man, there are so many. I could have done a top 20 if you had asked.
All right. And next, you have the last investment scam, right? That's the one where they got run out of the platform because they didn't pass the smell test. And you had Intellivision was asking Smash JT, they were asking DJC to write up, positive reviews on there to kind of offset the haters.
Right, yeah.
That was your number 5.
Man, it's so surreal. Is surreal a good word?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just so surreal. Like one of those drug-induced hazes you hear about from the 60s,
Yeah, that's the one where I think Smash wanted to redact his comment and they wouldn't let him. And then DJC was actually busted and called out because he made a review like he wasn't an investor. So then they called him out on it, and then he had to do a follow-up in order to reveal that he is an investor, right? And then
that's what I like about you. You're at least honest about being an investor.
Well,
which,
Carl,
by the way, you made tons of money off me, by the way.
You have to be, because the consequences are horrible. The chances of you getting popped are very limited, right? Unless somebody really wants to work with you, right? But if you do get popped, you want no part of that. You want, because those fines are not going away, and they're pretty big, and they're per video. Every time you do something, it's actually per video. It's not just that you're shilling in general.
They really need. That's why a lot of YouTubers, when they're reviewing products, they say, this was sent to me for the purposes of review, so don't get in trouble.
Yes, because just think about it. If somebody's giving you stuff for free, and you're crapping on it all the time, how much stuff are they going to send you? Right? They'll send you one, and after that, they'll go, no, we're not sending this guy anything. Yep, that's the way that show works.
Yeah.
And then you have at number 4, okay? At number 4, you have E3 chat carrying Amico a new one.
Sorry about that. E3 was like the assets. I had to break it down. And the chat. Were you there in the chat room when during the Amico presentation?
Oh, they were getting roasted, but it was going so fast.
Oh yeah. You could just hear see the comments going. You could practically hear what they're thinking when they see these comments.
Yeah, I think really where it started wrong for that presentation is that at this point, you would think that they would have more games, that they would be featuring games. We're looking for maybe a little bit of gameplay of Earthworm Jim, or a little bit of play of Cloudy Mountain. We were really looking forward to games.
Yeah. Which brings us into 2.
Yeah.
The E3 disaster.
What we really got was just Tommy doing his whole, I'm the best, talking about himself for like half the presentation, and then just a sprinkling, and then just a mention of physical products, I think, at the end. But it was really just a presentation about him. That's where he really just became the mascot of the company rather than the CEO.
It really was shocking to me, because I had really hoped that the Amico presentation would be something. Yeah, it was something, all right. Something that is crap, I guess, is the best way I can describe it. A disaster.
Yeah, it really was. And it was so bad that I remember even Saggy Melons didn't like the presentation, right? And she was one of his biggest supporters. And she was like, nope, I didn't like this. And next, you had the reaction of YouTubers to that E3 presentation. And I think that, there was a bunch of videos made about the presentation themselves. And basically, they were just roasting Tommy.
I remember one of the ones he liked the most how they royally nuked the shit out of him.
Yeah, it was
Giant Bomb Games or something like that. I forget what it was, but yeah, the content creators across the YouTube proceeded to royally nuke the shit out of him.
All right, and at number one, number one favorite moment, it was I think this is back earlier in March when it was revealed that Mr. Tommy Tallarico was trying to enter the U.S. with $100,000 that he didn't want to declare so he wouldn't pay taxes. That is your number one.
I mean, truth be told, even to this day, I'm still thinking how I'd have done it better.
Well, you shouldn't do it at all.
But if you're going to do it, you shouldn't do it the way he did it. Well, but yeah, you shouldn't do it at all. They're going to catch you.
Yeah. No, well, especially if if you have that much money, right? So the reward, right? Say you pay your federal and your stakes, and he's in a bigger tax bracket. Okay, they're going to take $35,000 are going to go to the government. That's what he's trying to avoid to pay, right?
Yeah.
And it's actually that's if it's just an individual, but if you're a corporation, he should just wired the money from over there, done whatever he needed to do. And, as a corporation, you can get a lot of write-offs. You can do different things. But the worst part is that he implicated his employees in it. That was the bad part.
Yeah. And I found out about that when I was watching your interview with Hammy. And that kind of reminded me of something I heard about Donald Trump. Wait. He did.
I don't want to. If you start talking about politics.
I'm just saying, it just reminds me of something he did. And honestly, they're kind of similar people anyway. That's all I'm going to say with that about that.
You know what? You got if he's Donald Trump, then what's his name? Phil Adam is Joe Biden, because he doesn't remember anything, right? He tells us that he can tell us an answer in 4 weeks, and remember, he's just kind of looking around everywhere. Yes, we got both parties represented here. On the Amico side. Let me ask you. I'm going to ask you for some opinions. I'm going to tell you some names. Right. I'm going to tell you some names.
Okay.
And you tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. Here's your first name. This is all Amico related, by the way.
Right.
John Alvarado.
Serial killer.
Serial killer.
He looks like a serial killer.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, dude. It's true.
Okay. Phil Adam.
Forgettable.
Forgettable. All right. How about, here's the third pillar of the triad, Nick Richards.
Rodent hunter.
Okay. And this is going to be a hard one. Okay. Let's see if you can do it. I need you to describe Tommy Tallarico in 3 words.
Oh, damn. 3 words.
3 words.
Lying, thieving politician.
Well, I guess that says it all. All right. Let me ask you. I know we're going to close this up, but I want to ask you, what are you working on? Do you have a new channel going on? I know you had opened and closed some things. So where can people find you at now, Carl? Because I'm sure they're going to
Stall Andy Pad. Just follow the link. Just follow this channel, and you'll see me.
Follow you on Twitter too, right? Because I'm sure they're going to have a lot of questions with all these opinions you have. These are strong things, Carl. You might have to do a separate video just to answer these questions.
Oh man, if they start giving me the questions, I'll definitely have to do a separate video. Didn't want to, but I'll have no choice. I'm
Yeah.
doing an interview with Tommy Amico Saturday.
Oh man, you're getting all over the webs, dude. You're gonna start blowing up.
I don't know about that, but it's fun as hell, though.
All right, Mr. Carl, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really do
I
appreciate it.
appreciate the chance to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Carl. Thank you for joining me. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Bye.